So, as I was saying, now I will show you some examples of SWOT analysis. There were some questions now. Um, I said that you could have done this to conclude. So you could give your own conclusions in a different table, or you could use like a SWOT analysis and then talk about the strengths, the weakness, the opportunities, and the threats. When we talk about the SWOT analysis regarding to the site, what we want to know is exactly how to avoid the problems and how to use some things to your advantage. Okay, so it's very important, and some of you did that, but that doesn't mean that you have done that correctly. So really think about this. SWOT analysis has to do with the impact with the site and the impact within your project. So there are sometimes some kind of notes that don't really affect or they are not meaningful for your design. So when you choose things for the SWOT analysis, try to think about things that are really meaningful for you. So SWOT analysis was one of the things. One thing that missed almost everyone was the conclusion. Okay, so this, I think it's from Jenan. So what she did is she tried to divide the conclusion in different things. So street network, she went to the same topics that we were covering: built and unbuilt area, functional analysis, height of the buildings, physical factors. This is very good to do this because you kind of have a clear mindset about the different things. But it's also important that this is reflected in the plans that you have done. Okay, so this should appear in the conclusion, but then when you are showing your assignment, it shouldn't be just data collection and then you reach to the end and then you do this. This should be incorporated within the things that you show. So, and I'm showing this, and as you can see, it's mainly words, and maybe you say, oh, but you are always saying that we are architects, so you should try to express ourselves like with sketches and schemes, and it's true. You can do this type of things to organize your ideas and to make it clear. And if you are able to do things like this, then for sure, like she did, you are going to be able to do things like this next stage here. Okay, so here you can see that it's a table again. It's a conclusion from the same student, and then design responses, site conditions, and then neighborhood setbacks, view, vegetation, parking, sun path. These are things that she decided to put here, not specifically things, maybe things that were like important for her, and then she's trying, to relate the two things. So if I have this in my site, what should I have then as a response? If I have this, what should I do? If I have that, again, the same thing. What should I do with this? Okay. Now, and it continues through another one, like site conditions, and then regarding the noise, regarding the safety, the wind, the drains. And now I think I'll explain something for you. I think it's not, we are not already in the design stage, but I think it's important that you think about this. I mentioned this to the student because I thought that it was important. So she did something like design. So she talks about the safety of the site, okay? And then she says that one of the things that design could do is to actually put a fence. Now, I'm not criticizing this. This is a very good example and it's a very good exercise. But that's why I'm here as an instructor, to kind of open up your mind and make you like start to make questions. So the thing is, think about the museum that it's next to you. And think about, it's a public space, it's open to public, it's accepting tourists all the time. Does it have any physical barrier between the site and the surroundings? Do you have any fence? Do you have any wall, any boundary? If you think about this, think also about the other public buildings that you know. No, I'm not talking about schools, of course, because they are public buildings, but public buildings that have like a strong relation, that are accepting everyone to go inside, open to the public. Like when you go to the university, you have to cross like, like a barrier, and there's a security guard. And then only if you are working there or if you have a card or something, then you can go inside. Okay? But in this case, when we talk about art galleries, when we talk about, shopping malls, when we talk about buildings that are meant to be used by the public, then we have a strategy, and normally they are not enclosed. I want you to think about this, because you have to think what happens there, and you have a good example there next to your site. What happens to that building? How can I assess it? What happens in the surroundings? How does the pedestrian path work? How the access for cars or even buses works? This is very important for you to understand. Of course, also the sun, path, and prevailing wind. And I think I'm going there because I had students with this wrong. Okay, so from another student, I think, I'm not sure now, not sure if Zainab or Khadija, don't remember now. Okay, so again, to make it clear, prevailing wind is from this direction, and the north is there. Okay, so the north is there. Try to always use the same kind of arrangement, orientation of the plans. Okay, it's easier for us, especially in the jury. Don't rotate plans, or if you rotate them, then make them all rotate, because it's a confusion, and I'll definitely, the jurors will question, why are you changing or rotating this? And some of you, I think that you were confused because you rotate the plan and then you got mixed up and you weren't able to understand. So northwest, the prevailing wind comes from the sea. The sea is from this side. And then what we have exactly is from the east to the west, then with different levers. Okay? We also have some points like the vegetation. Don't forget that you also have vegetation here. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to do this with the green. So you have vegetation here, you have vegetation there, and a lot more here next to your museum. Also, let me take this here from this side. Okay, so it's a very kind of nice public area. Normally you don't see so many trees going around, so try to see how are you going to deal with that. Another example of physical factors here, with the differentiation between the summer and the winter. The prevailing wind is the same. Some considerations about the dust wind that comes from this side, it's the opposite of the other one, so let's say the good and the bad wind. And then also how we should design the vertical and horizontal devices depending on the month and on the time. It will be fundamental for design 3 level. We don't really ask students to do this already, but for me it's perfect if you are already taking this in considerations, because this will help you for the next year to the design stage with the passive architecture. Now, we covered this part. I think, let me see what I have here. So this is again, this one it's cut it. So this one is completed. Okay, to understand again, what is the difference between just a collection or an analysis? In an analysis, you have more than you have, things that are representing nodes, some, again, links to the site, relationship with, let's say, public transports to pedestrian hierarchy, to roads hierarchy. You kind of work with everything. Also, the taxi stop near the Bahrain fort. I think there is one that it's covering that area. Not sure if this one, but see, another one. And here, like a kind of an analysis of the activities, but not only just, this is again something that you do in the analysis, okay? Walking, studying, sleeping, working, horse riding. This doesn't come under the keys or the guidelines that I sent. This is about your exposure to the site and what you have noticed there, okay? And then how you link those things. And this is in the daytime, and then what happens in the nighttime. And you can see here, the things address, and whatever it's written here has a link to what is happening there. and this is it's very important. It's very useful. Especially, it shows that you are thinking this in the kind of a right way. Another thing that you could do, this is the information that you can find online. Okay, so this is the zoning from 1998 from SIF area that you could just see online. And some of you, were able to find this information, also the topographic information, and go through it. Some pictures, this is important because of people's behavior. If you weren't able to go there, try to see I think I'll share those. I'll share these things, and maybe I'll even share one or two examples of good assignments for you to have be better prepared for this first task. Okay, so as you can see, this is from Google Maps. Can you see all those names of coffee things? They are food trucks that are normally there. Okay, they attract so many people through the day and through the night, and also on weekends. And this is very close to your site, so this definitely should also impact. You should think about that. Okay, I also have here something that is, I think it's from Yasmin. So this is some things that you can do as an architect. Okay, so more crowds at roundabouts and high vehicle intensity, of course, especially if you have, traffic lights, and then a kind of a very nice sketch about, the beach and people like walking and sitting, because this is, and cars stopping there, because this is actually what happens there. So this kind of image, it's very strong, just to kind of relate to what is there. And then, like the low, she even mentions that she feels that the intensity is stronger in this informal area than in the formal. I would like to add something. Maybe it was because you weren't able to go outside the house, but in your site, both things, formal and informal, are extremely important. Okay, and especially the behavior. So you have to put this under the same umbrella. You shouldn't just focus in the formal and the museum, because much more things are happening there than just that. Okay, now we have some more things again for the analysis, like, and here I think the only student or two or three that tried to do, and it was hard, especially if you couldn't go. With the correction, like what were the missing parts. Believe me, in our profession as architects, this happens so many times. We want, they are giving us plans that are not up to date, and then we need to confirm within the space and then finish them. The same thing, schemes and how we can relate things together. So for example, here, heights of buildings increase moving towards east from the site. So this is your site, and then when it moves into the city and SIF district, the heights of the buildings become higher. Okay, this is architectural thinking. This is how you can express something that you have a plan, you color 3 floors, 5 floors, 6 floors. What does it mean? What does it mean in terms of things? And now, if this is actually like this and you have your site here, are you going to do something like this, something like that, something like this? See, what is your response to this kind of thing that is happening here? Okay? The same thing, also like another reasoning about the space that it's there. And another plan now here about the zoning. And I think overall, I think I covered everything. If you still have any questions, just ask me. And be sure, if you are sending some message from Blackboard or Teams, if I don't reply, let's say in the same day, please send me an email, because I already had problems of people not receiving the feedbacks. So everyone is working online, and not all of the apps are, working in the same way, and sometimes they are crashing. So please, in any kind of mean that you need, just contact me and I'll try my best to help you. Okay? So hope to see you again soon, and hope to analyze things reflect upon the things, and try to show us more more schemes and more conceptual approaches like the ones that we are having here. Okay? Good luck.